I also want to thank you for being on my album, Everything Man. You just held up the vinyl from
Oh, yes.
Eardrum.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, Sonia Sanchez is the author and the performer of the opening poem of this album. And you have a poem. I have an album called Liberation with Madlib, and I'm doing Liberation 2. So your poem Liberation, I wanted to talk to you about maybe doing something with that
Sure.
for this newer album. And I
Okay. Love
appreciate you for
to.
that.
Love to.
I want to thank Marani for helping us out today.
Mm.
And Marani and your sons, Mungu and Marani, they introduced you to hip hop. And there's a quote that you said in an interview with Visionary Project. And you said, you think you don't have to understand it, or you think you don't need to understand it. And that's why you weren't understanding it. So can you speak to how they introduced you to hip hop and what hip hop means to you?
That's right. I mean, but what I do know, my sister, my brothers, and what you must know, that it is a continuation. It is
Yes,
a
indeed.
beautiful thing. It is something that we know, that when I watch the young rappers come in, people complain bitterly, and I mean, and I don't change, what goes on. I used to come in, and Mungu Marani had it on so loud I could hear it in the driveway outside. I come in tired from teaching, right? They were home, and there's loud music, and I came in to put some water on for some tea to relax, and I said, and I quote, "Oh my God." I said, "This is, I mean, I can't even hear what they're saying." And I would never forget the look in their face. Say, Mom, you come from New York City. We used to always ask you to repeat what you said
Oh,
because you spoke so fast. They got me. And I stopped and looked. It was so true, because I said, why are they asking me to say that again? Right. Because we spoke very fast in New
mm-hmm.
York City. Right. And they were reminding me, and they set me down. We used to have a program on Sundays about if something happened during the week. I would say we're going to do 2 hours on, this book, on love, you name it, whatever. And I said we're going to do this thing on music. And so they were so happy. So I started out, actually I started out with Mozart.
Okay.
Yeah, you got
Okay.
to hear
Take it all
that.
the way back.
That's right, But my children set me down, and then they started, and they were so smart. You know what I mean? They started with the people that they knew I knew, whatever, etc. And Stevie Wonder, whatever. And then they went to rap, and then I tightened up, and they turned and said to me, "Mom, listen to this the way you listen to all your friends talk."
Right.
Mm.
That's it right there.
One of my friends had to say that to me. Moved from New York to the South, and I always would talk about how crappy Southern music was. And one of my friends was like, "Stop thinking about Southern music being bad and just listen to the words." And once I listened to the words, I'm like, "Oh, this is actually inspirational. It's not just all talking about the same thing." So sometimes, you have to listen to others so you can open up your ears and mind.
Oh, you have to do that, But it's also another thing I think that is interesting. What they taught me is that, at some point, you're older, you think you know more than the kids, than the children, right? And then what
Yes.
I did, I sat on that couch, and they began to play it again. And I said, "Oh my God. Listen to this." And I started telling them what it was about. They said, "Mom, we know already." And I used to put the CDs in my Jeep, and I would play it. And then I get at the corner where the brothers on Broad Street were hanging out, and then I would put on a Mozart real fast. And they'd say, "Miss Sanchez, hi." And they'd come over, and I pull over and say, "What's that?" And I would talk to them. Then I said, "But listen to this."
Yes.
And then I would have a rap coming through. So they would always be on the corner in the morning, and they would wave to me. And I said, "I'm listening to Coltrane this morning." But they taught me no resentment because they were completely correct. You almost get arrogant, like, "I know music better than you know music,"
Right.
whatever. And I can tell you about this music. And my children literally took me under their wings, right? And they played every new thing they brought in. And I sat there and I cried sometimes listening. I said, I would have lost this. I would not have understood that these were our children coming behind us. I would have lost a whole generation if I had not listened to them, and I am so grateful to them always. And that's why
Yes.
I love
So am I.
Talib, so very much. And that whole group, because, I did something with Rakim and that Casualties of War. I used to put
Oh,
that
that's a
on
good record.
every morning
What you
before
know
I
about
left the
that?
house. I put Casualties of War. Can you imagine? Because of that CD alone, they stopped showing the body bags. Remember,
Yeah.
you're too young. They should show the body bags coming home from war.
Right,
And
right.
then all of a sudden, when that
Vietnam.
CD hit, they stopped because they knew it was teaching people something about war.
What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party. When opportunity knocking, then young nigga move that door. Whoa, get your foot stuck, get it, call me young, go get it. Now you can't fuck with it, might as well roll with it.